Welcome back, everybody. We are looking at yet another Ampeg SVT-CL. This one has a slightly different problem than I've seen before, so it might take some troubleshooting here. We're going to try something quick. We're not getting any lights on the bias control. No red or green. On the front panel, it is always in the red mode, which indicates there's a fault in the bias circuit typically. So this can often happen from a failed tube or a misbalance between the two sets of 3 tubes that are in here. You can see I've already marked these guys. I've thrown them on the tube tester. They actually all test good. So that's good news for the customer because that saves a $300 immediate bill for just for the tubes, the power tubes there. That means we need to do some troubleshooting. Now, one thing I did notice is all 3 of these tubes are 12AX7s, whereas these 2 are called for as 12AU7s. So it could be as simple as our bias circuit not recognizing, basically having too much gain from the signal it's getting from these. So I'm going to try swapping out all 3 of these guys for the proper tubes real quick, just to see if that's an issue. And we'll report back or be opening this thing up. So unfortunately, this one is not going to be as easy as just being a bad tube. I've tested all the tubes and they all appear to be good. And the fact that neither of the bias lights are coming on, the red or the green, kind of indicates there's a bigger issue here. So I did some measurement. I pulled all the tubes and we are getting voltage with preamp tubes installed. We are getting this negative 45 volts at these points. I need to reinstall the power tubes here, but basically what happens is our 12AU7s here are basically acting as amplifiers for this bias voltage, or rather buffers, since they're coming off the cathode there. And you're getting this negative 45 volts. So I'm measuring that down here. And I can adjust it. When I adjust the back bias position, these potentiometers here, sorry, this is kind of low quality. When I adjust these 2 potentiometers, I can adjust these voltages. Now from there, they go through this ribbon cable that goes onto the power tubes, and then comes back through this cable to these points where we get some comparator circuits. These are going to TLO74 op amps. And basically what's happening there is it's comparing the voltage that it's getting back from the power tube to what it knows to be a good voltage. And at that point is giving you an indication of whether the bias is good or not. That then goes to this point simultaneously. And based on the state of these comparators, gives this TLO72 amplifier an output that would then turn on the relay control, or adjust the relay control to high or low, so that we either continue to send current to the power tubes or block that current and go into safety mode. Now, the fact that we are not getting any lights on these red and green kind of indicates to me that there's some kind of failure in either our ability to get this current back down to these points. So either in the ribbon cable, like if we're good here, something between this point and either here or this output is bad. So we're going to dive in a little quicker. I got to put the power tubes back in to see if we actually get voltage at the nodes here that we would expect. Let's see what happens. I'll get tubes back in this thing. I need to kind of take a look to verify. Now we can see these clusters of pins like this. There's 14 pins clustered. There's 14 pins clustered. There's 8 pins clustered. My guess is this is one of our TLO74s. This is another. This is our TLO72. But I want to flip this board over real quick just to confirm that and get an idea of which side is pin 1, which is side 14, which is pin 1, which is pin 8, so I can really be confident in my measurements as we're doing this. Okay, so for anybody else doing this in the future, this is the other side of the board. This is IC6, a TL074. This is IC4, a TL074. Pin 1 is the upper right corner as we're looking at it there. So that would be pin 1 is here, and pin 1 is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this is our TL074, which is IC5, and this guy is IC3. And again, pin 1 is in that upper right corner from this perspective. So pin 1, pin 14, pin 1, pin 14. Okay, doing this both for you and for myself as a reference to look back at. Okay, so we've got the amp up right here, so I can take some voltages. We're hooked up to the CompuBias for one of the power tubes from each of the sides. I have some shop 12AU7s in the positions, since they're 12AX7s as this came in. I don't think that's the issue, but just in case, I also have new 12AX7s, both in the preamp board and in this other position. We'll see if we're measuring any current through the power tubes, and we'll measure some voltages coming off of our bias circuit here. Okay, so let's see what happens when we power up. Okay, we are in standby mode. Let's see if it'll switch over to green at all. Doesn't look like it. Which means we're not going to get any... Oh no, it is green now. Okay. And we're not getting any current through that one tube on that side. Our bias lights are on. Holy smokes, I wonder if we just had a bad tube in the preamp side, because I did not change the ones in this, in the board here for that initial test. Okay, we're staying green. Well, no need for complicated voltage checks, I guess. Let's see if this stays this way. I'm going to let it sit and see if this will bias up now. That's a much quicker repair than I was thinking this was going to be. Okay, but at least we learned something. So it could very well have been, there are two preamp tubes, 12AX7s, in this unit. And those were left as the old ones when I was doing the initial tests. It's possible one of those had failed in such a way that it was throwing this thing into a protection mode. We are still not seeing any current through that other tube. Yeah, we need to shut this down. We're getting all of our current through the other tube. The SVT's been on for a while now and is nice and stable. We're using the CompuBias to measure two of the tubes that are on different pairs of the sides for the push-pull. So these three tubes are one side. These three are the other. This tube, I actually swapped these two. This one was reading a little low when it was in the other position. You can see, so the way we do this is we can use the CompuBias or another bias tool to measure all the currents of the individual tools or tubes. It takes a little bit of time because you have to do them two at a time with something like this. If you had a bias probe that can read 4 tubes at a time, it would go that much faster. And what we're looking for is we're not concerned about the individual tube current unless you see something really problematic. Like this guy was suspicious because it was dropping half the current through it of any of the other tubes. So I was starting to think maybe we needed a new tube here. But what we want instead is for the sum of these currents to be as close as possible. And that's what this bias circuit's doing, is we're adjusting the current through this side from one of the bias adjustments. And then the other one, is adjusting the other side. Now, this guy, tube B as I have it labeled, I swapped with tube D because as it stood, it was only getting 11 milliamps through it. So that position has now been swapped. And you can see I was able to bias those up so that they are identical. So we do not have... Now if that 11 milliamps had stayed, the reason that I swapped those tubes was to see, does that 11 milliamps stay here? Or does it follow the tube as I move it over to this position? If that 11 milliamps had stayed in this position, we could have a resistor that's on the verge of failure, some carbon buildup in the tube socket, any number of things that's causing more resistance on that tube socket or that signal flow path. But because the problem not only didn't swap, but also I was able to then bias it away, shows that we're okay. Both the tube and the socket are good. It was just a matter of creating a combination of those pairs of three that would have a balanced, from one side to the other, total sum of their current. So the problem here must have been the two tubes, the two preamp tubes. One of these must have failed in such a way we were thrown into protection mode. This is one of those things where kind of got tunnel vision on check-in for the bias circuit. I started taking voltage measurements in there and went down that rabbit hole, which is easy to do on this stuff. When you start to chase a problem, it's important to step back and question, what information do I have? What am I forgetting about? What else could possibly be an issue? And just preemptively swapped out all the preamp tubes with known good shop tubes. And then this thing came back to life. So maybe the quickest SVT repair I've ever gone through outside of just doing a power tube swap, send somebody on their way. But I think the quickest one where I've still had to pull the chassis, which, just taking the chassis out and putting it back in the cabinet is about 15, 20 minutes each way to get there and get the board out and everything. So at this point, this is great. We basically went from thinking new set of power tubes at worst, which is about $350 to $400 with shipping, just for the tubes, to now this customer is basically going to pay for some labor and a couple 12AU7s just to have the proper tube in that position. And we're otherwise good. Another happy SVT. A lot of people don't like working on these. Got to say, they're kind of starting to grow on me a little bit. But I have a feeling I'll regret those words down the road. So thanks for watching. We'll be back in a couple days here with another repair. And potentially something new in the shop to check out. I don't know if anybody's heard about the Verellen octal tubes, but I may have a set showing up in a couple days here. All right. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.